Welcome back here to the Mountain Morning Show. We have our good friend here again, Lara Chho, owner of Petal Clay. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Fantastic. We last time you were here earlier this week, we made the beautiful Ikebana set that is still just thriving over there on the other side of the studio. And today we're going to be talking about some Mother's Day bouquets.
Yes. So I'm going to be demonstrating how to make a really beautiful arrangement with flowers from our local Whole Foods. It doesn't have to be luxurious, you know, to have your own fresh flowers at home. Something that anybody can do. So
absolutely, we're talking about kind of the creativity that goes into it, and the time and effort that goes into it is always great gifts because people know that you put the time and effort into that, and they really appreciate that. So, what are we working with today? What kind of plants are we working with?
All right, so for starters, I like to start out with some greens.
Okay.
So I have a variety of greens here that I like to put in. And adding the greens to the vase will help create some depth in the arrangement.
Okay.
So I'm going to build up a little bit of a green sort of
And now this is more of a kind of Western style flower arrangement where the Ikebana was rooted in ancient Japanese kind of culture and history. Do you take any of those kind of same aesthetic ideals of the Ikebana and apply them to this kind of style, or is this something that you do completely different?
Honestly, there's not a lot of crossover other than the fact that we're using similar materials.
Okay, yeah, no, that's great.
The rules in terms of composition are pretty different, as you can imagine.
Yes.
With Western design, it's more of like an adding and layering, whereas with Ikebana, as we talked about the other day, it's sort of like more subtraction.
Balance, right?
Yes, asymmetrical kind of empty space or negative space.
Can you remind people why you clip the bottoms? Because some people may not do. They just grab flowers and shove them in a vase. So what's the importance of clipping bottoms?
So if you have, particularly like the soft stem flowers like this, this is Snapdragon. I'm cutting it at an angle as well, and then giving it a fresh cut right before you put it in will help make sure that the stem is able to take up the water.
To take in as much water as possible. And actually, you made a great point during the break that we were just talking. With Ikebana, it's a little bit different because there's less stems used, and like you said, it's kind of more open space. With this, you kind of have to change the water a little bit more, and I had no idea about this. This is complete news to me. Can you explain why that is?
Absolutely. So in this arrangement, you can see that you know, it's not a large vase. Actually, I chose this vase because I think it's kind of a size that most people would have at home, or a shape, you know, a kind of a taller vase. And I actually made this. I make ceramics as well.
Beautiful, yeah.
Thank you.
Woman of many talents.
So we have a lot of stems going into the vase, as you can see. So the more material that you have in the water, the higher the chance of bacterial growth. So you want to make sure that you are using very fresh water and that you change out your water ideally every 2 days or so.
And this will ensure that your flowers live for as long as possible. I think you'd be probably be surprised at how long they last if you were to keep on top of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you also talked about the packets that come with a lot of flowers.
Yeah.
The reason those help is why?
So they have, of course, they have flower food, which helps the flowers grow and stay fresh longer. But they also have a little bit of sort of antibacterial materials in them, and that will help to prevent the growth.
That's pretty.
That is a beautiful flower.
Tulip. So tulips are interesting. You know, if you put them in the sun, they will actually continue to grow towards the sun. So these ones are quite open, which I really like.
I kind of like when they open up like that. It almost looks, I mean, it's a tulip, but it almost gives on a complete different characteristic to the flower.
Almost, it looks like a daisy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A little bit.
So these, I'm adding like a variety of colors of tulips here. We've got the yellow ones, and then we have these really beautiful, these are called double petaled tulips.
Oh, nice.
And they have just a really different feel with the double petals.
It almost has like a lotus look to it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So these are actually on special at Whole Foods right now, and thank you to Whole Foods for sponsoring this. They've provided the flowers. They're doing a deal for 20 stems of tulips for $10 for Amazon Prime members right now.
That is not bad at all, and you can get that for Mother's Day. A lot of us are Prime members, so another good way to save some money there. And so with this composition, you're really focusing on depth and kind of color, right?
Yep. So we started out with the greens as a base, and then we're adding a variety of different colors and textures. So I added in some Queen Anne's lace here earlier, which has a really lovely kind of soft texture. So really focusing on a contrast of shapes and colors.
Shapes and colors,
Yep.
okay. Yeah, it's really interesting. I do like the kind of the addition of the wild, it's almost like a wildflowers mixed with tulips.
Yes.
It looks really nice.
In general, like my style of Western arrangement tends to be a little bit on the sort of garden, more natural
Yeah.
I like that.
spectrum.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I like the kind of the wildflower look. It does look very nice. And so let's talk about some ways that people can learn more about flower arrangement through your business.
Yes.
Petal
Absolutely.
Clay.
So on my Instagram, you can find me on Instagram at Petal Clay. And I'll be posting a little bit about what I'm doing right now today on there. I offer mostly Ikebana classes out of my home. But I do private lessons as well. So if somebody was interested in learning, more Western style design, absolutely, please contact me. Give me a shout out. And yeah, I do ceramic vases as well. So if you're looking for a special gift,
So you can do it all in one day. You can build a vase and then fill it with some great flowers.
You can build a vase for your
as
mother
well.
for Mother's Day. You can do the arrangement, and then your mother has this beautiful vase at the end of when the flowers are no longer around.
And earlier this week,
Yeah,
you
that's
mentioned
great.
a really great opportunity coming up here in the month of May for some outdoor Ikebana. Can you mention that class as well that's going
Yeah,
on?
so May 19th, I'm doing a workshop with a friend of mine who is trained in forest bathing, or it's a type of outdoor sort of nature-based therapy. And we're going to be bringing people into the beautiful trails of Park City and leading some mindfulness exercises. And I will be specifically leading people in drawing from nature
Okay.
as an observation of sort of slowing down and seeing things in a different way, as well as doing Ikebana in the outdoors using some foraged materials.
So a really cool opportunity to go explore the beauty of Park City while at the same time learning a lot about the art of Ikebana.
So last thing that I'm going to do, as I mentioned, the flowers are from the Whole Foods here in Park City. What I did grab as well was a bit of Forsythia.
Forsythia.
So I love to use some sort of foraged element that sort of indicates the season.
Okay.
And right now, I mean, even the crab apples in my yard have started to bloom as of like 2 days ago. So adding a little bit of forage materials to your store-bought
That's beautiful.
flowers will absolutely change the feel of the
And
arrangement.
it gives it a timely feel to it. Like you said, it's with the season in which
Yes.
it's in, so that looks very nice.
It absolutely sort
This is a
of,
very beautiful arrangement that you came up
know.
with here.
and it creates a different, when you have branches as well in a floral arrangement, it will sort of add another dimension and create
Some
a
more
little bit more
character.
space.
I
So
love it.
that gives you an idea of how you could make your own arrangement. It doesn't need to be complicated, as you can see. Just give it a try, and as you mentioned that if you're making something yourself, it's even more valuable.
It is
So-
even more valuable. I completely agree with that. Lara Chho, one more time, where can people go to get more information about you, about more information about Ikebana, and then also how to sign up for this great upcoming class later this month?
So on my website, petalclay.com, you can also find me on Instagram at petalclay.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for showing us this great Whole Foods deal as well for all of you Prime members. Great way to save some money on some Mother's Day flowers for sure. Laura, thank you so much.
Thank
As
you.
always, we really appreciate it. Much more to come right here on the Mountain Morning Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.